Hey guys, what's happening? Thanks for tuning in and coming back and all that stuff. I appreciate it. I hope you're having an awesome day. And I'm working on another photo from Seattle, and it was in the Japanese garden. I did a vlog about that. You've probably seen that, or if you haven't, check it out. But basically, I did something that I do a lot. I don't know if I talk about it a lot, and that is I experiment. I'm sure I say this a number of times in videos, but to me, experimentation is like a really freaking big deal, and that's because I'll often edit a photo and I'll think, yeah, I like that. You know, it's nice. And like nice isn't a compliment in some ways. You know what I mean? It's like, wow, that's awesome. Now that's a compliment. But like someone says, oh, your photo's nice. It doesn't really get you that excited, right? So, and I'm talking about my own photos here. So I had a photo that I edited and I'm like, yeah, that's nice. And I was kind of like, well, I don't want a nice photo. I want a photo that makes me feel like, you know, damn, that was cool. What a great feeling I got from looking at it. Or, you know, it reminds me of like the moment or something like that. I want it to be impactful. And to be clear, I'm talking about doing it for yourself because, you know, there's so many times I think people edit, and I'm plenty guilty of this, by the way. In the past, I don't feel like I do this anymore, but I would edit photos to try to get people to like them. And like, oh, I think people like this, or I want to look like that photographer's work and that sort of thing. And you know, you kind of lose yourself in trying to be like everybody else or whatever. So my point, I guess, my meandering kind of non-linear point here is that you got to please yourself. I think it's important. And so I edited this photo and I was like, yeah, it's nice. I like it. It was a beautiful place and the edit's nice. I didn't want it to be nice. I wanted to like really like it. And so I went back to the drawing board. So let me show you the photo. Here's the photo. This is unedited. This is a raw file. So here's what I was doing. I was like, you know, I'll get AI and I'll get some saturation, I'll get some tone, and I'll do these kind of things. And so, you know, I went in here and I'm just kind of sort of regurgitating what I had gone through sort of privately, right? So I was like, well, maybe I want to fix some of these things, and you know, and I'm just kind of jacking around with some of the filters. I don't know exactly what I did. And in fact, exactly what I did is somewhat immaterial to this video, but you know, I ended up with something that was kind of like that. And you know what? It's not. I mean, it's kind of colorful. Maybe you need to tone down the green so you can get HSL. You know, this is easy, right? So I don't want to take too long on the photo that I'm actually not here to talk about, or the edit that I'm not here to talk about. But you can come over here to the green, say, oh, I'm going to tone that down a little bit, make that a little bit better. And so, you know, I look at the photo, and that's the original, unedited, and there it is in its, you know, sort of current state. Probably too much blue. Let me take the blue down a little bit. And you know what? It's a nice photo. But I didn't want a nice photo. I wanted a more impactful photo. So I ended up with, where is it? Here it is. I ended up with that. And so, actually, you know what? That's actually not it. Hang on a second. Okay, there we go. That's what I ended up with. I had a couple of layers turned off. And so that was my final, sort of final. Well, I say that. I always go back and change things. But the point was, if you remember my first edit, it was more blue and that sort of thing. And I tend to accentuate the blues quite a bit in my photos. I love blue. And especially when you have cloudy days, I like the skies to be kind of blue. I just like blue better than kind of gray. And so hence I tend to make my photos a bit cooler. You know, I talk about that a lot, I think. But in this case, I actually wanted to accentuate the warmth. And so I actually went warmer. And it ended up with, I think, a very different looking photo where I got more color pop of the yellow and some of the bright kind of chartreuse kind of yellow coming through, and a bit more warmth. And I got there from experimenting. So let me show you what I did to this photo, and I'll walk you through an edit. Okay, so here's the unedited photo, and I just started sticking filters on. I didn't even use the raw develop filter, which I normally would use. Put on clarity, gave it, you know, a little bit of depth. I went for color temperature, actually warmed it up a little bit, and then I went to color balance. That actually sort of overcame some of the warmth. I did a little bit of shadows here and a little bit of midtones. I don't think I did anything in the highlights. Yeah, so pretty subtle impact from color balance. There's before and after. Definitely a little bit cooler. But then I came back around with some other things like saturation and vibrance to pop some of the colors. Here I added tone and just added some contrast. And by the way, if you haven't noticed this, look at the before and the after. Contrast changes make a big impact on color. So sometimes you don't need as much saturation as you might put on it otherwise after you've added contrast. I often find that contrast makes the colors pop quite a bit. Added some smart tone here, highlights and shadows kind of stuff. And then I added split color warmth. And that was just, that's very subtle, but that was just a little bit of pop of warmth because there's a couple things I like about the photo. I like the scene. I think it's really, really pretty. But what I liked were the pops of yellow and orange. And I like that offset with the kind of bluer sky. And so there's the before. You can kind of see a little bit of that pop of color. And there's my current state. And I got here, as I said, through experimentation. It's not about like, here's the 4 steps or the 3 layers or the whatever, and I'm going to do bing, 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 and bing, and I'm done. Like it's not a race. I'm not trying to hurry and edit a photo. I'm just trying to create something I like. And so I'll often go back and forth. I'll save it as a Luminar file, and I'll bounce in and out of that file sometimes over the course of a couple of days, sometimes even a week. And it's not because I'm trying to make a masterpiece. I don't think any of my photos are masterpieces. They're not perfect. There's plenty of things wrong with them, so to speak. But I don't care. Like I just want to make a photo that I like. And so that's really what I'm talking about in this video. I ran through some filters here. I added an erased image layer to get rid of that little leaf that was floating. And then my last layer was structure, where I just went negative, and then I painted it into the sky and the water, as I'll show you here. I just went negative on structure, which softens up or removes detail. And then I painted that into the water and the sky, and it just created a more smooth and kind of gentle looking water and sky. Just a look that I like, but that was really it. I mean, it's not like a big reveal. It's a photo that I happen to like quite a bit. And I think one of the reasons I like it is it's a little bit different than many of my other photos, where I'll take my photos and go more on the blue side and that sort of thing. And here I went a little bit more warmth, and I think it allowed some of these colors, like on this rock and on the top of this little pagoda thing, and some of these colors in the trees to really pop. And so, warmth can be your friend, I guess, despite my all my videos where I'm dragging the temperature slider to the left to cool things off. It works quite well. And again, initial file, or before, if you will, and after. But for me, it was about experimentation and just saying, you shouldn't be happy with your photo until you're happy with your photo. And so just keep kind of like hammering away at it. And at the same time, this is going to be sort of counter to what I just said, is like, don't spend forever on it. Sometimes you just got to say, you know what? Boom, I'm happy with it. It's better than nice. It's a good photo, and I'm happy. We're not going for perfect here. We're just trying to make photos that we like and that resonate with us. And if you like it and it makes sense to you and it resonates with you, it brings back a feeling, or creates a memory, or helps you bring back to life a memory of someplace you went, then that's enough, right? There's no such thing as perfect. Chasing perfection is, number one, impossible because it doesn't exist, but also it's just a complete waste of time, because someone's always going to find fault with it. You're going to find fault with it, that sort of thing. So I don't know. I'm pontificating a little bit in this video, so maybe I should shut up. But I was just thinking about that because I'm often trying to create man, I just want it to be a little bit better or a little bit better, and there's better is great, but the pursuit of perfection is just an absolute waste of time. But don't hesitate to experiment. Try things you haven't tried. Experiment, learn, grow, do things different. Some are going to be great. Some you're going to hate. But you know what? You're probably going to learn something every time. And I learned that adding some warmth to a photo is not necessarily a bad idea, even though it was a gray, overcast day, which to me, and mentally and almost emotionally, a gray, overcast day is kind of bluer and cooler. I added warmth here, which was a little counterintuitive to me. And I think it works. I think it looks better than the initial version that was much cooler. So that's it for this video, my friends. I'm kind of yapping. So you have a good one. Thanks for watching. I'd love to hear your feedback about this. Leave me a comment down below. Share with your friends if you like it. If you haven't subscribed, by all means, hit subscribe. And I'll be back soon with more videos. I'm having fun doing these. I got a lot of things I want to talk about. And my dog's barking. I got to take care of that. So have a good one. Thanks for watching. Take care and adios.